Excellent. Hi, good to see you. Hi there. So good to see some familiar faces.
Alrighty.
Well, we're just a couple of minutes away from, I think, launching. I'm just going to dive in. I might loop a little bit. Welcome, everyone who's here. And I am recording this event, so for everybody that's missing it today, I'll be able to send this recording out. So my name is Danny Neifert, and I am the creator of Skin Harmonics, and I'm very opinionated. I have a lot to say about skin health, and I'm excited just to try this whole Facebook Live thing. I'm a little late to the party, but I am here, and we're going to just give it a whirl. And recently, I've started just putting out just more information, and it's something that I've been meaning to do for years. And I've been putting out weekly meme information, and the most recent topic has been just how our skin is how it feels about fall, just like as the season change. And so that's gonna be the first topic that I'm gonna talk about today. This is going to be a series of 4. So we're gonna make this like a Skin Sundays kind of thing. It'll be the 4 to 4:30 Pacific time and 5 to 5:30 Mountain time. I'm not sure what Austin and New York time is. And I have somebody who's showing up at some point to try to help me vet some questions, because the second half is just the skin oracle will be in. I'll be just sort of just fielding any random questions that anybody has about their skin. I'm an encyclopedia, and I love being asked questions, so I'll be fielding any questions that are coming up. And then for the people who hang out for the full 30 minutes, I will give out a coupon code and for the next order. So I'm not sure, as people are arriving, I'm just going to announce my name again. My name is Danny. I am founder, creator, originator of Skin Harmonics, and I am a nutrient-based skincare line, a topical nutrient-based skincare line, where it's all about feeding our skin instead of giving it chemicals and micro traumas in order to get it to anti-age or heal itself. So that's kind of my main thing. And I wrote a book this year. It's called Relearning Skincare: The Story of Skin in the New Way, where I share more of my personal story and give a lot of really detailed information about the process, because holistic resurfacing is somewhat of a oxymoron in the skin industry. If you want to resurface your skin, there's just that conventional method of basically melting it, zapping it, peeling it, doing all of those things traditionally that med-spas and dermatologists have been doing for 20, 30 years. And basically it's obsolete. There's a new way to do it. There's a new way to approach our skin that's way better. And so that's how it's going to go. The person that might show up, her name is Zila. If you see her in the chat room, or if you see her on the comment box on Facebook, she's the one that's going to kind of try to text me questions and whatnot. So she thinks she's waiting right now. Let's let people in the room. There we go. Yeah. So I also just want to say that, like, God, there's been so much all the fires that have been happening. Last year we got hit, or a few years ago we got hit pretty hard, and so with fires and floods. And so whoever just want to acknowledge, like, showing up in the midst of how busy and like difficult life can be right now to catch a half an hour about skin. Like, I just want to recognize that. Like, yeah, we lived through that a few years ago, so it's kind of a big deal. So thank you for being here and taking a moment out of your day to talk about skin and to be in this inquiry with me, this conversation. Good. We've got people coming. It's good to see everybody's faces. Yeah, it feels really good. I'm gonna kind of just check in. Ah, the Facebook Live event is not linked. Okay, thank you, Zila. I'm gonna do some problem solving. It says that I'm here. On my side, it says it's happening. So I'm gonna give me a moment here. Or Zila, maybe you can like jump on Facebook and see what the problem is. Give me a moment. Oh, it's here. It's totally happening. Okay, so on my side,
I see you
so
live
on,
on Facebook.
I'm showing that it's totally happening.
Oh, it's
So
here. It's totally happening.
Zila,
Okay, so
I
on
think we're
my side.
doing good. Thanks, Zoom people. Yeah. Okay, we're back on board. Okay, so this whole topic about how our skin welcomes fall, and I mean, it's like we're all trying to do this thing with our bodies and our lives where we're trying to sync with what's real. And I was taking a walk with a friend yesterday, and she dropped in this factoid about how time didn't really exist numerically until the trains were installed, and then all of a sudden we had to know numeric time. And um, and it's like we have to have that sense to function. Obviously, this event started like at 4 or at 5, but there's this other loss of what's happened in our bodies with we've lost touch with these deeper biorhythms and the stars and the moon and the seasons that are changing so much. And what happens in the fall is that our skin does not have as much of the UVB rays as it gets in the summertime. So there's UVA rays and there's UVB rays, okay? And a good way of remembering that is the UVB rays they're burning our skin enough to get a sunburn, but the UVA rays are going way deeper and they're aging us. Those are the rays that are destroying the collagen in our dermal mattress on a much more deeper level. And so as summer ends, there's a reprieve. There's a time where our skin gets a break from those UVB rays. However, it's just important to know that our skin is still being subjected to these rays, to the other rays, the UVA rays, year round. So I get this a lot, is like all of a sudden people aren't wearing sunscreen and they're feeling like they don't have to protect their skin from the sun. And that's myth. It's just like not true, right? So I want to just remind people that even though we're headed into fall and we are getting reprieve from the UVB rays, that it's important that we continue to use sunscreen, and of course a clean sunscreen. Now, years ago, there was just not as many options for clean sunscreens, and so there was a moment of consideration. It was like, wow, is this toxic load even worth it? Because there's so many toxins in this sunscreen. But now, these days, thanks to people like us and you and me, where we've like demanded, basically, like we've demanded that the industry, just like the food industry, clean things up, and we're seeing that impact now. And so now, I mean, I could rattle off lots of different sunscreens, way more choices than we had even 10 years ago, or definitely 5 years ago. So wearing a sunscreen in the winter is still really, really important. And so that was like my first point that I wanted to talk about how our skin handles fall. And I also want to just remind that 80% of the aging that happens to our skin, it's been proven, 80% is due to sun exposure. 80% is due to the exposure of UVA rays. And like I said, that's year round. And that's a staggering number. And I know a lot of dermatologists that actually don't advocate for anything anti-aging other than a sunscreen because of that. So don't underestimate the power of starting a sunscreen early using it often, and reapplying. And that's another mistake that people make, is they put it on in the morning, but when they're really, really out in the sun, they aren't reapplying, and so much sun exposure happens is what they call sunscreen error. And that's where in between sunscreen applications, there's a lot of sun damage happening. So I just want to talk about that and remind that, because it's like you could be doing everything right for your skin and doing all sorts of stuff, and if you're not using a natural sunscreen and reapplying it, then your work is somewhat in vain. Sorry to report that. So that's the good thing for me to remind people of. And there's a lot of products and products that like you can apply collagen topically. And let's see. Somebody else wants to come in. You can. There's like collagen masks, right? And things that you can apply topically, but collagen has to be in the network of your dermal mattress to even make a difference. And so it's really good to eat collagen, and it's good to support your dermal mattress and your own manufacturing of collagen. But there's a whole part of the beauty industry that has everything to do with collagen boosting and collagen masks. And I'm here to report that they're very ineffectual. And I mean, I've tried them for years. I've tried all sorts of stuff for years. So it's not something that you can just like add to your skin. It's important that your skin, number one, you're protecting what you were born with. And number two, just optimizing what your skin can make. I mean, the skin can make very, very small, and that's arguable, amounts of collagen. And it never can make enough collagen to compete with, and this is going to segue into my last talking point about fall, is it will never make enough to compete with collagen loss that's due to microdermabrasions and laser peels and chemical peels and all of the things that are trauma based. So that's a really good thing to understand. I'm gonna check and see how. Yeah, great. So Zila, if you're there, it looks like you're totally there. Maybe you could just, in like 5 or 10 minutes, start shuffling me some questions, and I'll switch hats, and we'll move over to answering questions. That's kind of my favorite parts. Really, why I wanted to do this is just to answer questions, because I get so many good questions, and sometimes I wish there were other people listening to them, because they're so good with what people can learn. And the final thing I want to say about fall is, if you've ever participated in marketing from a dermatology office or a medical spa or just a conventional esthetician, fall is the time that they start marketing peels and all of those procedures that I just mentioned. It's like this is the time where they really start pushing their laser series and all of the chemical peel series, lunchtime peels, and now microneedling is added to that as well. And so for me, it's what's best is that we're obviously, you guys have heard me about this, abstaining from those procedures, because they just are a net loss. There's just really no way around it. And I spent years with those procedures. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I put my miles in, and I'm just absolutely convinced based on what I've personally seen. So instead of participating with all of those traumatic, we'll call them micro violences to the skin, instead focusing on dermal nutrients. And there are ways to get daily nutrients into the skin with a daily serum, and that's what my skincare line, a huge piece of my skincare line, is all about, is feeding the dermal mattress and getting the nutrients. They're sort of like calories for the skin, that your skin actually takes them in, absorbs them, and makes new skin cells. And the joyful thing is that it's making new skin cells, not because it's been beaten to death, right? Not because it's been this like it's being hounded and pressed into a corner and out of survival, like has to throw some adrenaline up and start making new skin cells. Our skin starts making new skin cells because it's inspired and has the wherewithal and the means to voluntarily and abundantly make new skin cells. And in doing that, our skin is able to resurface and replace the top layer of our skin much more faster than it ordinarily would. And those new skin cells are always so sought after, and that's one of the main reasons that people are scrubbing their skin, is to get those new fresh skin cells, is that they hold more water and they do look fresher. It's just that when we're getting those new skin cells by paying that high price for what we've paid, is like we're buying those new skin cells and putting it on a 20% interest card, because the other shoe will drop. That added inflammation does start taking away from the dermal volume, the dermal mattress volume over time. And so great, you've got some new skin cells, but you've taken one step forward and 3 steps back. And so by using these topical dermal nutrients, we're able to just move forward and improve our skin's ability to circulate its own blood, have its own, the dermal mattress is this living gooey layer that we don't see that makes the new skin cells. So that mattress can be fortified and fluffed up and strengthened so that it can continue to make new skin cells, far longer than a dermal mattress that's been beaten down and depleted and given all these work orders, not given any food, never put on vacation, just kind of overworked and run into the ground. So fall for me is a time where I think, well, okay, I've got to keep wearing that sunscreen, and I need to keep protecting my skin, even though it probably won't get burned, but those invisible rays are still getting in. And it's a really good time to start giving my skin, kicking up. Fall and winter is the time to kick up the dermal nutrients that my skin can receive, because when our skin is getting a ton of sun, it's just too much to be asking it to be processing extra amounts of dermal nutrients at the same time. And the other thing, my final thing about how our skin feels about fall, is that it's also the time where if we kick up our dermal nutrients and give it this protection and this reprieve, that it's the time to go and get your skin cleaned out. Now, you guys all know, the people who know me, that I'm a huge proponent of this, because there's a big difference between just scrubbing at the skin and beating it down and just scraping it versus really cleaning it out. Like not damaging the upper skin cells, not damaging the pores, supporting that beautiful, gorgeous texture that our skin inherently has when it's not scraped, scraped down and being scrubbed at, and when it's fed and hydrated in such a gorgeous way. So cleaning out our skin is something that the skin loves in the fall, especially after months of just like gooping on sunscreen and protecting our skin from sunscreen, because we can wash sunscreen off and we can clean out our pores, but we can't wash away wrinkles. It's just not going to happen. So leaning into the sun protection over the summer, and then towards fall and winter, leaning into getting our skin cleaned out and feeding it. So that's kind of my commentary on what I wanted to share about fall and how our skin is feeling about fall. And I want to also answer some questions that are coming up. And let's see. I might check my text. I'm going to check the chat box and just see where that's at. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves on Zoom and like shout out to me, that's okay too. Okay. Yeah, can you unmute yourself, Alia?
Yeah, hi. Hi, everyone.
Oh, wait.
My question...
Oh, I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure why.
Okay, I am unmuted. You can't hear me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so for some reason I'm not hearing.
Okay, I'll write it. I'll type it in.
Yeah, go ahead and type it. I'm not sure why. Gotta love technology. While you're typing that in, Alia, because I'm not sure why it's not coming up, um, I'm going to talk about the process of reapplying sunscreen. This question is coming through, and I'm not sure why, Alia. Um,
Hi, Danny. I'm here.
I'm only seeing. Okay, and we're going to jump into this about sunscreen. So reapplying sunscreen. Got it. I got my next question. Thanks, guys. Um, so the way I like to approach sunscreen is I like to find two different sunscreens. Um, One of them is a more heavy duty sunscreen and something that I like to be able to reapply. Like it might be a stronger SPF, but there's one from a company that I really like that I can type out later. But it's something that's strong enough than my normal daily one. That's just sort of a no-brainer that I put on that doesn't necessarily need to be washed off even at the end of the day. Like it's so clean, I would put it on a baby. Like there's really no impact. It's just so natural. And then I use a heavier duty one that is more of a sports sunscreen, something that's water resistant and something that's above a 40. And that's the one I choose when I know that I'm going to really be out in the sun. And you just have to remember to put it on. And one trick is to have a small packet of it, a sample packet. I have a chapstick tube of it that I like. So finding a small enough container that it'll slip into your jacket, your pocket, your pants, that you're wearing, and you just reapply it, but making sure that you actually like it. What I have found over the years is that people will buy a sunscreen because they should, and they're like, okay, this is the one I should use because this and that and the other. But you have to make sure that you actually will put it on. And this gets really complicated because us female creatures are so about texture and smell and how it feels after it's been applied. So I think the real work comes in with really vetting and finding that heavier sunscreen that you really like, and that you really will apply because it doesn't have a smell that you're adverse to. And so there really is no trick to just remembering. You just have to be prepared. You have to be the Girl Scout and find the sunscreen that you like and make sure that it's in some type of container that's easy enough to take with you. And you can also, I did this years ago, although I felt like it was partially successful. Every time I would drink water, I would think, do I need to put sunscreen on? Like every hour or two. And it is every 2 to 3 hours that when you're really out gardening or surfing or boating or river rafting, that's when every 2 to 3 hours is when that next layer of sunscreen has to go on. And I'll leave with this and then we'll move on to the next question. There is a specific serum that I can share with people that is somewhat of a sunscreen. It's a specialty serum that I sell. It's not mine, it's from another company, but it does saturate the skin with something that does give your skin the ability to be shielded from the sun. And so for a lot of my clients that are working with, already having several lifetimes of sun exposure and they're already in their 60s and they're dealing with precancerous lesions, this is a really good serum to use because it just saturates the skin. You still need to use a sunscreen. It's a dangerous thing for me to tell people you don't have to use a sunscreen when you're using this serum, but it eliminates the sunscreen error that, let's say you forgot for an hour, that overlap. You were gonna do this and it turned into something else, and all of a sudden you're like, out in the sun with no sunscreen. And so using this specialty serum can also be like an extra trick that a lot of people don't know about. So that's my rant on sunscreen. And let's see what else we have. I'm going to check my phone here and see if anybody's texted me. I'm okay. I don't want to list clean sunscreens right now, but I will. I'll send out an email or something. Oh gosh, my God, the time. Okay, so now I'm realizing we only have a few more minutes. Yes. Okay, I'll answer this. Sun absolutely penetrates through glass. Yes, when you're driving, absolutely. And this is something that I've noticed over and over and over again, and something that I've noticed with my own skin. The left side of our skin for Americans, because we drive on that side, is probably, I would say, gets twice as much sun damage as the right side of our face. So for Americans, my left side, our left side, you can is the big difference, that it starts to show up more of our 60s and 70s and 80s. The difference, I saw this really wild photo of a postal worker that drove a US mail truck, and it was like, wow, you could really tell that they had been driving and overexposing the left side of their face. And so if you're working at an office, you're working at home. I know that the house that I had in Taos had like incredible windows. I used to swear that I was getting tons of sun damage from all of the sun exposure living in our airship. So yeah, so absolutely, the sun will absolutely come through glass. And because we only have a couple minutes left, I want to just touch on a few things. I want to remind people to get onto my newsletter, and dig me out. This is the thing about my newsletter. I've been really getting into these lately and really enjoying them, and all of my pertinent information and all the good stuff and all the coupon codes are in my newsletters. But at least half of them are ending up in people's spam folders. And so there is a way to whitelist me, to get on your Google Mail or whatever your mail server is and find a way, dig me out and find a way to make sure I'm on your happy friend list so that you can actually get my newsletters. And I'm loving Instagram these days too, so I want to everybody that has an Instagram account, like I want to follow you and find you there. And I do want to give out a coupon code, but I'm going to play a game with you guys. I sent out a newsletter a few days ago, and there was a typo in it. A typo that I was just like, oh. And so as proof that you're getting my newsletters, if you text me or email me or voice memo me or messenger me the word that I typoed, I will give you the coupon for 10% off. Now, new clients new people that get on my website, sign up for my newsletter, you will get a 20% off coupon. So that's just a straight gift. But for people that have already used those coupons, you can get a 10% off if you prove to me you're getting my newsletters and tell me the word that I typoed on it. I feel like I did that and was like, oh my God. And then I redeemed myself the next day with figuring out my audio and linking live to my Zoom. So I'm learning. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is definitely check out two more things. Definitely check out my book. The audio is on YouTube. It's called Relearning Skincare, The Story of Skin in the New Way. I poured my heart into this. It's just a story that is just kind of my adventures with skin. And if you can read and listen to this book, you will understand more than most dermatologists and most estheticians out there. And so that's on YouTube. You can also download the PDF by getting onto my website, and I'll send you that. And also for my existing clients, I want to just remind you, I was going to do a Lamino demo too. Let me do that real fast. That I am honoring the $100 client referral client referral fee that I've been doing all of these years, where if you send a client, you send somebody and they actually come in and see me, you get $100 credit towards anything that you want, session, product. Okay, so Lamina. This is a product that is like no other. It's not a regular moisturizer, okay? So you get it in your hand, and you start smashing it. It's somewhat waxy. There's no wax in here, but it's just very dense. It liquefies. It turns into goo. It completely gets liquid, and you can just like dab that right on over your serum. And what happens is that it makes this incredible sealant on the skin that traps the water in our skin and prevents that water from evaporating. And you don't get that heavy, goopy thing that heavy moisturizers are like just not fun to have. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I've so loved doing this, and let's do it again next week. Please share this. Please share the invite with any of your friends, and I just love you guys so much. Thank you for my dear friends and people that I see that joined me today. We had a Skin Sunday. All right, bye.